Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Review Flicks. In this video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming live-action remake of Snow White from Disney, and it looks like the budget has ballooned out of control up to $330 million. So guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, stay up to date with all the movie news we have going on around here, and with that down, let's jump into this movie news. So guys, we're going to take a look at this article here from the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Gazette. Snow White, Disney said to be in panic mode amid continued backlash and out of control $330 million budget. Yeah, guys, I mean, what do you say? They've made a Snow White movie and the budget has ballooned up to $330 million on the production budget. I don't think that factors in the marketing cost that they're going to have to pay on top as well. This movie is going to have to make potentially close to $1 billion at the box office just to make its money back, which is absolutely insane. It's not going to happen, especially with the reputation that these live-action remakes have now got from Disney. But anyway, guys, let's continue reading the article and see what else we can learn. So, new details have emerged about Disney's reported attempts to save its Snow White remake, including the fact the budget was already spiraled out of control to a whopping $330 million. Absolutely ridiculous. Beyond ridiculous. So, amid continued negative publicity, I wonder why the negative publicity might be. Rachel Zegler. Disney recently delayed the upcoming Snow White remake by an entire year. To prove to fans much of what they've heard isn't true, the studio shared a shot of Rachel Zegler's Disney princess surrounded by the classic seven dwarfs. Yeah, guys, I'll link down in the description below. I went into detail about the newly released screenshot from the upcoming Disney remake of Rachel Zegler, the actress playing Snow White, surrounded by the seven dwarfs. They look like CGI kind of mannequin, really weird and creepy dwarfs. So go down the description, guys, after this video and check it out if you're interested in looking up that image. So, however, the rough state of the visual effects has led many to speculate the image was thrown together in a hurry and that the characters will actually be added to the movie in reshoots set to take place between the end of the SAG-AFTRA strike and the new March 2025 release date. Yeah, obviously, guys, they've still got the actor strike going on in the US. So no actors can participate in any kind of paid projects as of the moment. So a lot of, projects are kind of had a spanner thrown in the works, so to speak. And obviously they can't have any actors on set doing anything, but they can still write. They can still do behind the scenes writing and stuff like that. So Mail Online via Tornado has chimed in today revealing that Disney is scrambling to figure out how to save a movie they've allegedly spent $330 million on. How the heck did this happen? Yeah. Whoever their accountant is going to have a heart attack. Like, their accountant needs to be fired. Spending this amount of money on a Snow White live-action remake is insane. Insane. And then we've got movies like Blumhouse coming out and spending $20 million on a Five Nights at Freddy's. And it goes on to make, ridiculous amounts for how much they spend. Why not just make a cheap Snow White movie, $20 million, instead of having CGI dwarfs, have actual real dwarf actors playing those roles? Make it on the cheap. It doesn't require much VFX. $20 million you can make that movie for, and you could end up making $500-600 million. That's a massive return on investment. But nope, Disney has to go beyond and spend $300 million on a movie that's nowhere near going to make that amount of money back at the box office. They're just going to fall on their face, guys. And I think it's a case of the news surrounding this movie is going to be more interesting than what the actual movie itself is. So keep our eyes on that, guys. But yeah, so how the heck did this happen? So, quote, Disney had to delay Snow White because they spent so much money on it, and it's a financial disaster at the box office. It might single-handedly cripple remakes and a potential Snow White sequels that they have planned. Single-handedly cripple their live-action remakes because they've spent so much money on it. And if it falls flat on its face, woohoo! Man, someone's getting fired at Disney, that's for sure, because this is going to be a catastrophe. Quote, they also have to remove themselves from the bad taste in their mouths of online critics and want to instead deliver a great film and get to a point where they get it right. They realize that they are overthinking things and they are relining it a little bit more. Oh, and they are now reining it in a little bit more, sorry. They realize that they were overthinking things and they are reining it in a little bit more. Yeah. You don't need to spend this amount of money. Like I keep saying, guys, you could spend, even $50 million. It doesn't require much VFX, real dwarf actors. It takes place in a forest, the majority of it, in a cabin. That doesn't require much money, does it? To film something inside of a little cottage and then have a forest scene. There's not much that goes on in this movie that requires massive visual effects, So why the budget is so astronomically high, I really can't wrap my head around that, guys. It's kind of crazy. Um, so Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage has widely been blamed for Disney's decision to ditch the Seven Dwarfs after comments from the actor, in which he called Snow White a fucking backward story, went viral. Earlier this year, a Snow White stand-in was spotted shooting scenes with men and women of different racial backgrounds, with only one of them played by a little person. Yeah, so Peter Dinklage comes out. Obviously, he's the guy who was in Game of Thrones, one of the main characters. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, the character that he played. But obviously, Peter Dinklage, he's a real-life dwarf. I don't think that's insensitive to say. That's kind of, what they're called to some degree. I'm not being insensitive or offensive when I say that, guys. But yeah, he came out, obviously spoke for his community, which I don't know if he had the right to do that, to say that Snow White was backwards for having dwarfs and, they're still living in a cave. And he made all these awful comments. And then ever since then, Disney seemed to have pivoted away from the actual dwarfs. But yeah, why he gets to speak for his community, I don't know. And why would Disney listen to him? Like, what makes him important? I don't get that. So Disney would deny the set photos were real, though multiple sources have since confirmed that those were a real deal. The bandits are expected to still be part of the remake, presumably because they're in too many scenes to simply scrap them at this stage. So the reports go on to claim that Disney is looking at Cats and the Sonic the Hedgehog to help them figure out what's not to do, and later famously changed the title character's design after fan backlash. As for Cats, it's widely considered one of the worst musicals ever. Yeah, we can go off on a long trailer about that, guys. But yeah, obviously Sonic the Hedgehog, the marketing came out. We saw the redesign for Sonic initially. And, it looked absolutely awful. There was a massive fan backlash, and then they went back and redesigned the Sonic character to more in line with what it was originally. Although I have a theory that the marketing department kind of did that on purpose. I think it was a whole ploy and it was a whole setup. I think that they, I think that was kind of set up, I think, anyway. So it's a perfect storm right now, but they're embracing change and anticipate it all to work out and exceed expectations. The work starts now, the unnamed source adds. They also had to delay the movie because they not only have to make it as best as they can be, there are a lot of toys that they have to prepare, so they need the dwarves and the rest of the characters to look exactly like who they are supposed to be. Yeah, guys, there's another thing we need to bear in mind. When these huge movies come out, especially these Disney movies, toys are another revenue stream that these companies bank on. So when this Disney movie is coming out, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they got to make all the toys as well. So if the studio is constantly messing around with, what the dwarfs look like, what Snow White looks like, and they're constantly retinkering the kind of dwarfs, and that obviously offsets the kind of toys. The toy manufacturers can't make their toys until they have a definite design on the dwarfs for the movie, because obviously the toys have to look like the movie. So it kind of has a knock-on effect, and we need to remember that obviously toys are a massive part of the movie industry, making money off of their films as well, guys. And then we just have the cast and crew here. Snow White is set to be released March 21st, 2025 now. Obviously, it was pushed back an entire year, guys. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. So it could single-handedly cripple future remakes, and it's ballooned up to $330 million if reports are to be believed, which is just one of the most expensive movies ever made, surely. Like, that is just crazy. There's no way this movie, can make it be profitable, surely. It would have to go on to make $1 billion plus, roughly around about that, 900 to $1 billion plus at the box office just to make its money back. But yeah, guys, I throw it off to you. What do you think about this news? Do you think this budget is absolutely just crazy like I do? Are you interested at all in this Snow White remake, or are you more interested in the news like me, kind of watching the train wreck unfold? I'd love to hear what you have to say, guys. Thank you so much for coming and talking news with me as well, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I will see you soon.